Right, hello everyone. Welcome to Digital Eccentric channel. My name is Joe Robinson, and today we'll be playing a bit of Total War Rome 2 by Creative Assembly and SEGA. Today I'm playing the DLC that was released at the beginning of December, actually, the Season Gaul DLC, which is it's more of a kind of a mini campaign, a more focused campaign. It's set in the area of Gaul, which is essentially modern day France, and then a bit of Belgium perhaps. And you got the edges around here, and it stops at the border of Spain, and then of course you got the southern shore of Britain. This follows the campaigns of Julius Caesar, who was fairly famous for marching up and down the length of Gaul and spreading Roman law and justice essentially, and he kind of conquered most of the tribes in this area, and even went across to Britain, which is why Britain is included. He didn't stay very long. He kind of got thrust back, and then it was a good 100 years maybe before the Romans actually returned to Britain proper. But nevertheless, here we are, and I'm going to be doing very hard. I'm going to play as Rome because, you know, I quite like Rome. Why is help none? True conditions, yeah. Just for just to let you know what. You can also play in this particular mini campaign. You can play as the Averni, which is a specific Gallic tribe. I think they're the ones who are made famous by Vercingetorix. So yeah, there we go. Vercingetorix, who was kind of Caesar's main rival towards the end of these campaigns. He united all of the tribes in Gaul and tried to resist the Roman invasion. Didn't work obviously, but he put up a good fight. You can also play as the Suebi, who are basically a bunch of Germans who have migrated down and are now peeking at the edges of the Gallic area. Again, I don't know the entire history of this area. I don't know how much influence they really had. They could just be there just for something different. And then you've got the Belgae, who this tribe up here, just another Gallic tribe. They had their part to play. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be Rome. Could give myself a challenge, very hard, and see how we get on. As many of you may remember, the game was slated a little bit at launch for being slightly unfinished. There was a lot of performance issues and some very odd gameplay choices as well, which I suppose are harder to fix, because if you base your game around certain concepts and they just don't work, then you kind of have a game. Excuse me, you kind of have a game that is less than it can be. So it'll be interesting to see how those specific problems or those specific issues arise or not in this mini campaign, because the mini campaigns are more focused, smaller area to deal with, shorter games, mechanics are different slightly. If any of you played Napoleon Total War, it's a similar thing, where they focused on several specific campaigns following the career of Napoleon. Although these kind of mini campaigns have gone back as far as, well, as far as the early ones really. You had I believe it was Viking invasion after the first medieval Total War, and medieval
As I cross
2.
Transalpina, my course of action is clear.
Skip these. So as my first objective, I have to completely control 3 provinces, either by direct ownership or through client states and military alliances. But yeah, you kind of Medieval 2 Total War had like an expansion that had basically 4 mini campaigns set in different areas of the world. A Teutonic campaign, a campaign in Britain, and a bunch of other stuff really. So yeah, this is basically the Roman situation at the beginning of the campaign. They're not obviously at the height of their power, because, you know, there's still a lot of the world they don't own, but they've come out of the war, out of the 2 wars with Carthage at this point. They are masters of the Italian peninsula, and this around Julius Caesar's time is when they start looking northwards. They start looking to, you know, take over other areas of the world. And Julius Caesar, who was the proconsul of Gaul at this time, he wanted to make a name for himself, and so he decided to spread spread the well, the light of Rome to the barbarians, as it were. Got him into a lot of trouble as well because his detractors in the Senate said that he was waging an illegal war against the Gauls, which I suppose is kind of true, to be honest. You know, they didn't. A lot of the tribes were trying to existing peacefully with Rome on their doorsteps. Some you can actually see from the map. Again, not sure how accurate that this is, but you've obviously got all these people who are friendly towards me, and then you've got the people around who are slightly more aggressive. But yeah, it's really not a big map at all, this particular one, versus the kind of whole of Europe of the other maps, so you've got a lot less room to play around in. These guys are my clients, a client state of mine. Let's see. I can't get some trade going.
A flapping tongue that speaks without wisdom is not welcome. Be like a spear and have
Trade is always useful. Trade is basically a good source of income. If you don't have people who are willing to trade with you, then you're basically relying on your own economy, which, especially in the early game, can be a bit precarious, but there you go.
Greetings to you. I trust you come with honorable words that I can hear kind.
It's a lot less clunky, this diplomacy interface. I'm seeing that almost immediately. It used to be really tedious to click through everything, and yeah, there was that perceptible delay where
Greetings to you.
It just made the whole thing really tedious to interact with.
You are welcome, although my aunt.
Even being a client state, they don't always want to trade with you. Right, so
Commander.
What to do? I've actually already played about 20 turns of this campaign already, but I did kind of badly, so I decided to start again. Issue a couple of edicts to help boost morale in this area.
At your command. Advance. We cannot pass here. Make haste, men.
That's right, run away.
On the move. March! Your next command?
How may I serve you? Treading softly.
It's a bit of an odd position the Romans are, because obviously roads are your main way of getting around. It's the easiest way of getting around, but in this area the only actual roads in existence are the ones that go along the south. This is Massila. This is actually a Greek city. It was so the people here were primarily Greek. It was one of their colonies, I believe. I don't know much about the history of the city, but obviously they didn't last long, because they had the Gauls at their doorstep, and then you had the Romans as well, who eventually just swept through this entire area. But yeah, they're quite. It's best not to antagonise them, because the Greek units can be quite tough sometimes, and well, they're a good trading partner. We've also got this isolated army out here in Narbo Mauritius, or Mauritius, I'm not sure what it's called. First things first. The technology interface is slightly different. You've still got the kind of binary system between well, red and blue, or development and politics in this case, but in this one it's set up slightly differently. And this side, the red side, it's kind of traditional text. They take a while to research, and they give you buffs and unlock buildings, etc. But on this side, the politics, it's less technology and more about doing political actions that get you benefits, and as you can see, they only take 1 turn to do, but they also cost money. So you kind of have to, they're very expensive, but in this one, adopt Mark Antony as an initial action. So you'll get Mark Antony as a general. You get 2 Imperium, which is something that's a stopover from the main game. Then you can also build training fields, which is important for armies. So there's kind of like an even spread of like key techs and buffs across both sides. So you'll have to interact with both trees in order to do well as the Romans in this game. Like, what's one of them? I see. It's another one, marriage to Julia. So, again in history, Caesar's daughter Julia was married to Pompey, who was a big political rival of Caesar. And this is this action. It just gives you public order. It's a very basic tech, but it unlocks other techs. So trade concessions, gladiatorial games, banquet for Julia. Oh yeah, she dies. So you have to be careful there. Let's get on with a bit of management. In the workshop, this will probably be my recruitment centre because it already has a field of Mars going for it. Oh, that probably wasn't a good idea. That's going to turn into squalor if I'm not careful. Never mind, I just have to leave it as is for the moment.
Commander.
Let's do a bit of customization because I love a bit of customization. A little bit of role playing I like to do. I don't generally like to give legions additional names until they've gotten their first rank and done something. And really, this one down here is a bit small to be a legion, so let's rename it to the. Don't really know much Latin, so a lot of this is probably made up. But there you go. Probably have to leave taxes as is for the moment. Yeah, the kind of Imperium / political screen is relatively unchanged, but again, I don't know if any of you read my review over on Strategy Informer, but essentially the political interface and the political kind of meta game was kind of poorly implemented. It's kind of useless, and especially in this mode, it's there's no other factions. There's just the proconsulate of Gaul as this listed, and you just get people who you can use. This is useful for tracking your progress, like Imperium and your diplomacy and stuff. Records and stats, but yeah, the political interface is pretty non-existent at the moment. There's no political metagame at all, apart from the political text, I suppose. Something might develop later on. I don't know. There was a lot of well, I suppose there was a lot of politicking going in Rome while Caesar was doing this, but while actually in Gaul, Caesar just kind of ignored a lot of what the Senate told him and just kind of did his own thing. No one came out to stop him. There was no kind of political manoeuvring he had to do. He just did his thing, kicked some ass, and then at the end of it, when he was recalled, that's when he took his legions across the Rubicon, the famous crossing the Rubicon quote, and that's when the trouble really started to kick off and led to Caesar's eventual rise, well, almost eventual rise.
There is a time when warriors must sheathe the sword and talk for the good of their people.
Who's this? The Helvetii. No, I actually want this province, so we'll say no for the moment. Or unless... Interesting, I could either make peace with them and either take the Tulingi or create a buffer of friendly tribes, or and then expand this way, or I expand up north. No, I'll continue with my original. Okay, well, They want to be friends, let's be friends. Let's see how this goes.
We hunger for battle. On the move.
Ready for further
What do you
orders.
wish of me? As you command. Is there nothing else? They will never see me.
One that gives a lot of public order, I forget which one it is though. Jupiter, just do that one. Actually, no, hang on. Well, let's stop that. There we go. If something turns into squalor, it's just something else you have to deal with, so it's a bit of a pain in the bum. Never mind. That's kind of all the money I've got for this turn. So,
Commander.
nice. So I lost about 500 gold a turn just for hiring that mercenary. So mercenaries are quite expensive to upkeep in this particular mini game. There's techs you can get to reduce their costs, but you have to be careful not to go crazy, otherwise, you know, you won't get any money.
At your command. Advance. Our advance has been halted. You have further orders?
You have to be careful in these wilds as well, because in the absence of roads, and there's no roads this way either, in the absence of roads, especially in adverse weather conditions as well, your troops can suffer attrition just by walking, and you know, obviously they're really slow as well. So that's what I was saying, it's a bit of a precarious position that Rome's in, 'cause to get anywhere you have to travel through all these god awful mountain passes and stuff, which can be a bit tricky, so if you want to take the long way around, you have to kind of plan, and the kind of seasons are different in this game as well, because obviously you don't want you progressing through the seasons too quickly. So I think there's 12 turns in a year, possibly. I forget now.
My skills are yours.
She's leveled up because she's a boss.
What do you wish of me? How can I be of assistance?
Ready for battle. On the move.
can tell they've done a lot of background improvements, because even just clicking through the turns is really fast. I mean, it was quite fast at the beginning of games to begin with, but I don't remember it being that fast. So hopefully, when it does get to the later game, which is historically where a lot of the bloat happens, it won't be slowed down as much. I mean, to be fair, a lot of this is down to the rig you have, so if you don't have a decent enough rig, then it's kind of your own fault in many ways, but
At your command.
just upgrade some of my
Ready
troops.
for battle.
So I've got nothing to fight at the moment, I'm not in a rush. See if anyone else wants to trade. Trade.
I welcome you, worthy speaker. I listen because
Nope.
I do not think our people want your trinkets. They like honest, manly stuff for the most part.
Gauls aren't half cheeky sometimes. I think because this campaign's so focused and sort of on a smaller scale, there's a lot of just ticking through turns at the moment. The base game had that as well, which was a shame, but hopefully they've improved it enough so that there's more going on. But yeah, at the moment, since I'm not fighting anyone, ooh, there's a tribal confederation. Yeah, this is something that the Gallic tribes can do. They can do this in the main game as well, but it's more kind of potent here because there's a lot more tribes, so they can confederate and kind of join together really. Rome has a client states, Gauls have confederation, different names and slightly different mechanics for essentially the same thing. So. Need to get some actual money flowing now.
Commander. Advance.
Keep them on the bridge here, just in case.
How may I serve you?
Unseasonal conditions, yeah, this can happen as well apparently. Provinces experiencing unusual seasonal conditions, so you have to just be careful that you don't
We hunger for battle.
get your troops. Let's see if I can. No, it's alright at the moment, but usually when you hover your cursor over an area, if you'll see a little skull appear, which means that if you move a troop into that area, they'll face attrition. Useful. Whoops. I always think that's the back button or the down button for some reason. I'm bad at catching you out sometimes. I'm going to save up for that port next turn, I think. More money, more power. Bozos. Delicatessen, always love a bit of a delicatessen.
We hunger
Love
for
me some
battle.
food. Just lost the upgrades. Yeah, having a good research rate is always useful.
How can I be of assistance?
It's a bit
What do you
weird, I suppose,
prefer?
because every agent has an action where they can just deploy themselves in a foreign country, or actually in a foreign state or your state, and just do a kind of background buff or debuff action. And they just kind of rack up the experience. And so it's already on level 3, so it's kind of well, I say cheap, it's
Commander,
a bit cheeky I suppose, a bit too easy maybe. Not really sure. I don't like how they're building up an army. Maybe I should have killed them when I had the chance. So the last time I did this I just kind of went straight for the province, like nearly destroyed myself on their city. I took it, but you know, barely, and then I had to defend against a retaliating army. VAD 4637. I can't tab out because the game might crash. Like OBS and my games aren't getting along at the moment. I mean, it's fine, but if I tab out, it could crash the game. Then I'd have to start the stream up again. I've had enough of that. So if you can, don't know if you have a problem with spoken English or not, but I'm using a GeForce GTX 560 Ti, I believe. That's my graphics card. Not really. It's just off top of the range when I bought it 2 years ago, I think. But it's kind of progress has been made since then, but it's still a fairly decent card. I quite like it. Served me well. I think Rome 2 is the first game I've played where there's been issues, but it's been looking alright so far. I've turned down some of the settings, like some things like air and water and trees I don't really need to have at max specs, but I like to have the troops in the buildings at max settings just so they look nice. So you think the amount of times my agent's being exposed, they would have tried to kill her or something by now, but nope, she's still rocking it.
I have little gain in wasting the day on you.
No, they won't. What can I get them to do? Nope. Not even a non-aggression pact. Quite quite belligerent at the moment, aren't they?
ready for battle.
Right. So yeah, apologies that not a lot is happening right now.
Fear is your lot.
This faction's
Now come the
declared war.
ravens.
The
Beaks agape for your
Contii.
guts. Eager for our sword work.
Tulingi.
We hunger for battle. Make haste, men.
I guess it's on.
Your next command?
Confederation is growing. Could be good or bad. Well, it's probably not good, but at least something's happening now, so hopefully I got caught out by these guys last time, so I have to be extremely careful. I want to build a manipular barracks, which again is something I'll have to save for, I imagine. Watchtower there, because I can then build my agents in that province. Could pull these guys out, but historically these people have declared war at me as well, so I need something there to kind of stave off an easy picking. So Caesar stands alone. Skirmisher maybe? Nah, that's right. Oh, there's mercenaries actually. Mercenaries are available.
War! A man's calling is war, not weaklings' gossip. Give me the clash of swords.
Well, that's just not fair.
The sword was drawn, but now it's bloodied. End this feud. We offer peace.
Yeah, I don't actually like the idea of fighting two people at once.
You will march till your feet bleed. Ready for battle.
Right, so at least I've got them in the... Oh, motivated, how nice. In the town, population surplus, peace negotiated, so yeah, don't really care that I'm not at war with them at the moment.
Commander.
Deal with that another time. Won't be ready in time, but never mind. Alright, let's see what happens. Come at me, bro. Oh no, they're going the other way. Of course they are. So I've got one legionary. These guys. On this one.
At your command. Will escape. Besieging the settlement. Laying siege to the settlement.
Keep him penned up for a bit.
At your service. Mischief and mayhem.
Oh. You see you spent all that time there. Can't even sabotage a simple sabotage. Get a farm going. Everyone likes a bit of farming. go. Figured they'd do that. Oh, I have to have some attrition. Oh, it's because it's winter. Bloody winter. Never mind. Alright, here goes nothing. What if I won't embarrass myself too much? Ooh, I'm on a hill. I like being on a hill.
On the go!
Yeah, that works as a basic formation, I suppose.
Legatus!
The review panel contains the unit or ship cards representing your force. Clicking on a card selects a unit or ship. Double-clicking on it zooms the camera direct.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
So they would attack on during winter. Kind of made a tactical error there.
Stone thrower!
I feel.
At the double!
Commander! Advance at speed!
So we can find out where they are. So I do like the more natural line of sight mechanics in this game. It's a lot more, well, realistic, to be honest. Nothing wrong with that.
No! For glory! Legionaries!
Double time!
Oh, very large army. Very large army.
Our general is under attack. An entire unit has perished.
Oh dear.
Skirmishes! Father!
Ready! Understood!
Horsemen! Ready and waiting! Advance at speed! Ready! On the go! Yes, Commander!
This is actually going hilariously bad, so
Skirmishes!
here's what happens when you try and stream and play at the same time. You kind of lose focus on the big picture. Yeah, that's not going to end well for anyone.
Skirmishes!
The men are wavering.
Yes, of course they are.
Ready!
It's funny how like the AI can just get a drop on you sometimes, and battles are a lot more tough as well.
The men are wavering.
That is something I've noticed.
Riders! Advance! Pull back! Advance at speed! Understood! Riders at the double! Glory awaits! Ride out! Legionary!
The men are wavering.
Melee troops!
Back men!
Ready and
back!
waiting! Go!
Run!
Ready!
Understood! Legatus! Forward! Forward! By your
The men are wavering.
So it'd be hilarious if I lost Julius Caesar, because I'm pretty sure that's game over. Unless of course he just gets injured and goes back to your starting location, but either way, this is a hilariously bad
Our
start
men flee the field of battle.
to a game.
Our general has sustained a terrible injury,
No, of course he
but he
has.
will live.
Right, yeah, so that's basically Julius Caesar taken out for the time being. Oh god.
Melee infantry! As you command! By your command!
The men are wavering.
Orders understood! Any of you men run!
Well, that went well. 4 minutes 21 seconds to be utterly overwhelmed and pulverised into the ground. I can see why I went wrong. To start with, I probably shouldn't have marched out in snow, because that never ends well. And second, I probably should have been on my toes a bit more. Oh, at least I killed their general. That's that always makes me feel good.
Retreat, men! Retreat! Destination reached.
Right, I think we'll have to leave it there, to be honest, because it's coming up to the end of my hour, and I don't really want you guys to see me save scum, which is probably what's going to happen. So anyway, this is the sort of first few turns of Rome 2 Total War DLC. I'm very hard, I'd like to point out, but you know, I'm normally better at this game, so I surprise even myself. But thanks for watching, and hopefully the next stream I won't fail as epically. Cheers, bye.